Welcome to Albion TV presents the AO Daily Show, your source of real news in an unreal world, keeping you up to date on the latest news, events, and the great community of Albion Online. Today is Friday, the 29th of November, and I am your host, Shozen, and with me today is the great and the powerful man behind the curtain. It's Bogul.
Hello, man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
What curtain?
I don't know, like Wizard of Oz, you get to control the big, powerful head.
I do have a very big.
I can see it over
head.
there on.
Yes.
It's giving a thumbs up. It's got a jester cap. It's all good. So how are you doing today, Bogul? Are you excited about these patch notes that we have today?
I am. Yes, there is the Percival patch 11 that made it onto the live servers today. We will probably spend a good chunk of today's show talking about the patch notes that we see there. And how do I feel about it? I have a few favorites, yes.
No, you do.
Yes.
But we don't just have patch notes. We have some PSAs, we have some drama, and we have this upcoming roundtable discussion coming up today. So we're going to probably, this is a little bit of bad news for the people who are here, it's going to be a short show.
Well, probably like 30 minutes still. So
yeah,
the usual show, but not overtime today, probably.
Yeah, no overtime. But first, to the PSAs, Bogul. Dun, 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 dun. All of the winners so far in the emote contest have received their premium, proving once and for all that, guys, it's not rigged. You get your prizes. You get them. Maybe not the gold. I do keep the gold. That is true. Nobody gets any of the raffles. I keep that for myself. But no, you can get free premium. Okay, it's not rigged. I do give away gold. You can ask some of the people in chat. Some of the people who have won have actually received their gold.
Cool. Yes. The emotes, of course, are the Twitch emotes that we had this little contest going on for a while. That said, I think we decided that over the next months, we will cycle some of these, maybe. If we have good submissions that could get in line for, replacing some of these, maybe. But for now, we want to say thank you. And let everybody know that you got your premium days.
People are already pressing F in chat for poor Vastly Superior. Yes, guys, the end of the show, we will all be pressing some Fs in chat for Vastly Superior because there's a little bit of drama, and I will tell the story behind it as far as what I know so far. We did recently talk to Asterial, and I talked to him again today. It is a sad day as another good guild has folded.
Oh.
All right, but first, Bogul.
First, yes. What?
Patch notes.
No.
No? Oh, Adventures Challenge is starting Sunday.
Yes. Well, we are supposed to say that this is happening on Sunday. Yes, the first. That's what's happening on a first of a month, the new Adventures Challenge. And the referral season will also start on Sunday. So as a heads up, if you want, or if you just made 15 new friends during Thanksgiving, and of course everybody is curious what you do for your free time, then you can just say, hey, I have this cool game, check it out.
In between discussions on political drama at the family table and family horror stories, I'm sure you can drop in a few stories about video games, as I'm sure Uncle Pete would love to hear about how you have this new full loot PvP game that you've been playing for the last 9 months, and that this is the first time you've left to have human interaction since. And if he wants to get away from Aunt Sally, yes, this game could be for him. So yeah, maybe you can at least get one, which is all you really need now, right? You only need one referral, right, Bogul?
Yes. Well, you get stuff for up to 5, but the fancy things, I think, you get for 1. So.
Cool. You don't need 15.
Well, honestly, I don't know if the next month's rewards, I don't know these yet. We just know that there's going to be an announcement on Sunday. About that, at least.
All right. And yeah, now we're on to Percival. Patch 11.
No, I wanted to ask you about since you mentioned it, Thanksgiving.
Okay.
About your Thanksgiving, and I mean, everybody noticed that you sort of weren't here yesterday.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah. I went to a family dinner, and I don't actually have an Uncle Pete or any of those weird uncles. None of. Well, no, that's not true. Some of my my wife's uncles do play video games. So.
Do you know what Chad said yesterday in Twitch?
I don't know.
I bet Shozen is that one weird uncle.
I'm the only one with kids. So I'm that one weird dad.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, my sister, she does have, my sisters do have kids, but we don't do Thanksgiving with them. So I guess I could be their weird uncle. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But
I couldn't help but sort of...
I feel like I'm the normal one in my family. That's really the weird one.
Well, everybody feels that, right? Everybody. Now we can talk about Percival, I guess. Oh, no. Actually, I have one thing to plug. Yesterday, I did, during the Thanksgiving festivities, I did a little shout out. I think that's how you celebrate Thanksgiving, right? Because that's what I wanted to ask.
You give thanks
just
to things.
Say what you are thankful for?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. So if you want to listen to me saying thanks to some things, you can listen to yesterday's show before I introduced the interview that we had yesterday with GV Black, the main shot caller and council member of the Guild Fricks. That was a good 30-something minutes, 40-something of interview. And that's pretty cool if you have missed that. And now we can talk about Percival.
Okay. Thank you. Because Bogul, I don't know if you know this, but we've been talking about this patch for a long time. And I'm really looking forward to actually being able to spend a little bit of time on some of these notes. But we have a few quick ones that we're just going to go over real quick. Guys, the weird uncle of Albion is back, as Uncle Frost has returned. Uncle Frost is back. Let me just make sure I'm getting this to an appropriate size. Forget this. We're going full screen, Bogul. Boom. Uncle Frost is back. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Uncle Frost is a keeper with a Santa hat and a beard. And if you defeat him, you can get some cool loots, including, I believe, a mount, right? You can get the festive Yule stag.
Chance. Right, there's a chance, not guaranteed.
Yeah.
There's going to be some snowballs involved. The guy is blue. He kind of looks like an oversized, mutated version of Papa Smurf. With a beard. So it's...
Papa Smurf has a beard.
Right. Sure. And he also throws snowballs instead of rocks. But he spawns, I think you said it, at the Keeper dungeons. Or there's a chance for that at least. So you can go look for that, get some nice cosmetic Christmas themed.
I'm glad to see the return of the snowballs. I was actually concerned we weren't going to see the snowballs come back because I asked and I didn't get an answer, so I didn't know. And snowballs are very important. You know, there's something in the middle of the summer you can just hit people with at the, they don't know where it came from. They just get a little stunned. They're like, what did you hit me with? It's fun. It's fun. At like guild meetings and stuff, that's what snowballs are for. Okay, big ones because, okay, actually, we have to hit this first one. This is not big. This is the new avatar available. I've seen the avatar. The avatar is cool. I'm not going to show it. I'm not showing it. Jeez. I've seen it. It looks cool.
Okay.
The border, it looks cool. These are good. You can see them when it's appropriate. I like them. But on to the important thing. Avalonian mob changes. The archers have had their hit points increased by 50%.
Pew pew.
It's good. It's important. It's needed. I can't wait to get to talk about Vastly Superior later and tell you a story about some archers. But also her fame has been reduced 33%. That's also a big deal. Like, ooh.
I already saw the forums and Reddit. It's like, oh, why do you kill the game?
Like kill the game. Bogul, remember my favorite faming moment? It was only 3 days long, and they told us if we kept doing it, they would ban us. So just taking it away isn't that big of a deal. Guys, you can find something else to kill. you'll be all right. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
The acolytes, the other version here, the other instant character on these wandering mob locations, their incense has grown stronger. It's
so
like
they smell worse?
They're higher in level, ish. Or damage, they're just higher. Their incense is stronger.
Right.
Higher damage. I don't know. Combat balances. Bogul, the disarray buff has been completely changed. We're going to open it in a new tab and look at this.
How long did the first iteration survive?
Not long. Till the first patch.
And when was the last reset day? Like a week ago, right? So we had this. We could play around with the first iteration for about 2 weeks, I suppose. And now, almost 1, 2, yeah. And now we get to play with the new version, which now you have a debuff of defense and a debuff of damage.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of weird how it's expressed, right? So
yeah,
it says you get a quote-unquote buff, but that buff does negative percentage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically a debuff. Yeah.
Like if you have 255 players in the zone, and the other group has no additional debuff, they're like at the 25 mark, right? And they come at you, and they have anything close to you while you have a negative 89% damage debuff. What does that even mean? Do you do 11% damage, Bogul? And then you have the increased chance of, well, you're going to do a whole lot less than that because there's going to be a Zerg debuff in just a second.
For me, it's always very, very hard to judge these numbers just by looking at quote-unquote numbers. I think we have to wait for some of the first reports coming in over the weekend, how people experience these numbers in practice.
Yeah, we have no idea what this is going to be like in the game. Like, I'm excited to see if it really has an effect where a group of 50 really can do some serious damage to a group of 250 if that 250 is not 100% focused on taking down the correct targets, because I think it's going to. I mean, I look at these numbers and these are in 89% damage reduction. If that's what this comes out to, is huge.
Yeah, but it's 255 players, right? So that's the absolute maximum that you have. I think we would have to look at more quote-unquote realistic ranges.
That's not a realistic range. Getting 55 people in the zone, you'd have to, you would be the only ones there. There might be, 50, 60 people there? You're not going to... Less. I don't know. The numbers per zone are different sometimes, so I can't tell what... it's...
I mean, it starts at having 25 players in the zone, and there you have a 1% defense debuff and a 1% damage debuff. And then in the first levels, every 5 additional players, you get 1 more %. So at then 30, you would get -2 defense and -2 of damage. And that sort of scales linear, where, say, at 100 players in the zone, you have -16 defense, and then you have, there it changes a little, then it goes to -19 damage for other players. And that's more of what I think would be numbers I would see more commonly.
Yeah.
And,
now, there are 2 things here that I wanted to talk about, and this is interesting. Do they say that if they've changed it, if you will still be able to read the other person's debuff?
I think they didn't.
They didn't
explicitly say that.
Okay.
No.
I do like how the beginning of this has changed completely, though, Bogul. Before sorry, I cut you off here. But from 25 to 50 now changes at every 5 players instead of 1% every player. Like before, it was changing very quickly in the beginning. And that just didn't seem to make a lot of sense for me, because you're getting punished for a single player. And every single player in the beginning punished you. whereas now it seems to be a much more scaled process and goes all the way to the end, which is also good because we were seeing situations where people, when you could read their debuff, you could see that they had the full 25% debuff, but you had no idea how many guys they had, where they could see that you had 21% and knew exactly how many players you had. And so they had this huge advantage of not only being capped at how much debuff they were getting, but they were also able to hide their numbers while you were not. So when they had more, it was the advantage was even greater.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I always, I don't put that much weight on, you know, whether or not you have 10 more people in a fight where you have 100 plus. There, it doesn't really, you know, seem too much of a advantage for me personally. But yeah, I don't think they removed the thing where you can just mouse over or click in any player and see their debuff, because still, based on what they have, you should sort of have intel about their group size. But one thing they did remove, to jump back to the patch notes and take away, you know, the last bit of it a bit, is that now they fixed the issue that when you had a GVG in a zone,
yes,
then the GVG players don't get that debuff.
Yeah, that's a bug fix. We were going to talk about that. Yeah, that's definitely important to talk about. But let's get right into some of these actual changes they've done to weapons, because some of these really stood out to me. We've talked about time and time again the changes to Arcane Staff and how we think this is very cool. Like you're getting an extra 140 damage reduction. Well, shield strength. You know, your bubble is more powerful, and it goes half the duration. So it now becomes a real anti-dive bubble. It's going to be interesting to see how well you can use it. It's not just a panic situation now where you got to go, okay, I have my bubble, I can just throw it down. It's up for 4 seconds. You know, my healer can now heal and do that. Now it's more of a preventative tool, and I want to see how that ends up working. Now, Bogul, bleed on axes. This is interesting. This is interesting. Now, we do come to, and I didn't know if I was going to talk about this, but I do want to talk about it real quick, is because we noticed something while looking at the weapons themselves. Rending bleed, it's not on both skills. I believe it is, like it's supposed to be the same, but it's not named the same, which seems to be a situation we have come across a number of times.
So you're talking about that you don't know which one this.
Well, I believe it is. Like it says, if you look at Rending Strike, it just says it inflicts a bleed. But if you look at Rending Swing, it says it specifically, in fact, it puts down a rending bleed. So you hope that both these bleeds stack, right? It makes sense that they would. It sounds like they're the same. And I'm thinking that it is. So, yes, I get the feeling that all of these will stack. And we have seen situations where bleeds can get pretty brutal when you have bleeds and dots and everything going on a player. This can really get to be a lot. And we might see a situation where we see, like, more axes in play to get these bleeds out. I don't know for sure, especially now that you have the stacking situation. Just you might see it. We can't say for sure. I don't know under what specific situations it would be great in, but I'm hoping to see it. Exploding bolt, Bogul, on crossbows. This is something else I wanted to talk about because there are two. This is not
exploding things.
Yeah, two different exploding things. This is exploding bolt. Okay. This is the one that you shoot at a player and it goes right to them and it just explodes around them. The damage on that has been upped by 30%. Its hit delay has been decreased. Its stand time has been decreased. It's been made more useful as a standard Q. Now, you had asked if this was exploding shot last time we talked about this. Exploding shot is the one that you aim at somebody, it sticks on them, and then it explodes after a certain amount of time and does additional damage. That is the E for the light crossbow. The exploding bolt is on all crossbows.
Yes. So. I was looking at this when I first saw this. I'm like, a bunch of stuff explodes on the... and then now, hopefully, this is clear to some other people who might have not noticed too. Yeah. Don't know what else do we have? Hammers.
Hammers got giant step changes. They had the physical resistance change that goes down. This is hard to actually see when you go and you look at the hammers themselves, because it says what your new resistance is, and it's different for each level. So this is...
I mean, when I watch you guys cast the GVGs, I always get the impression that the Forge hammers have a large part in the meta right now.
Yes, they do. They're very, very tanky once they go and use their giant steps. And they're very hard to get off of a target. Like, they can just do physical attack damage, you know, just standard melee attacks, and really take a guy down. They're very, very powerful. And the physical resistance from the Forge hammers, as soon as they get into danger, had taken them out of danger like an extra defensive. And it just allowed the person to just ignore whatever you're trying to do to get them off of you and just pound the crap out of you for a good long while. Now, we've seen more changes to Holy Staff. We just saw Holy Staff getting some changes recently with the last balance patch, and we're seeing another change to Sacred Pulse come out. Sacred Pulse's knockback got increased by a third, and it had its cooldown reduced. So look forward to seeing them in arenas, and maybe this... I think this is a change specifically to get more people to do arenas. You know, like, it's easier to queue up as a... Well, it's easier to queue up as a healer, and that is the coolest spell for arenas, you know, just being able to go, get off of here! And we got it. And you got to heal everybody.
5-player Holy Staff disco?
Well, I don't know about the 5-player. We have done that. That was fun. But I feel bad for the other 100 people who are waiting in queue when you drop 5 healers into a single group, because that's like, really? Do you know how many melees have to wait to get into an arena when you drop 5 into one group? Rude. But Flash Heal is completely reworked here. Flash Heal used to get 2 stacks and then it would return energy to you. Instead, now it gives a healing. It gets 3 stacks, and when you hit that 3rd stack, it explodes and heals 5 people, or up to 5 people, for 50 in a radius of 5 meters. I have no idea how useful that is.
I mean, it's another step and another change that is in a similar fashion that we have seen with some of the spells, which is that they adjusted some of the weapons towards being potentially more ZVZ viable. I personally feel like this is sort of a, you know, getting ready for Queen and more ZVZs sort of idea. And I just observed that on a few things over the last few, you know, I guess months of balance changes now. Also, I don't exactly know how much it is, but we know that a lot of large-scale ZVZs like the nature healers. So maybe it's an attempt to get more holy into ZVZ.
Do you think that the Sacred Pulse is also a ZVZ viable spell?
I don't know how would you use it? Go full tank and then run into the enemy and then
no, I would just think that as you're trying to get people off of your targets while you're trying to heal, because generally it's a clump effect and they jump on in a group after you. If you can separate the group like it was a bop, but it goes off more than once, you know, it could be useful to people. Nature Staff, big changes to Thorns. Thorns had been changed recently, and they had now become a tool so you could be offensive whenever you attack somebody. I'll actually bring up the Thorns here. Bring up Nature Healing. Whenever you would attack with Thorns, you would deal additional damage. And the old version of it, when you were attacked, it would deal damage. However, for a short period of time, it was taking off a stack whenever you would be damaged or when you would attack, which meant your stacks would disappear very, very quickly. Because if they're consumed every time you attack, they're consumed every time you are hit, you're going to lose your Thorns really quick. Now, they stay up when you are hit, they just go away when you attack, and they continue to deal damage both when you are hit and when you attack. So they're getting rebalanced for this new type of druid gameplay. that is being developed, which I find is very interesting. Again, I don't know how incredibly viable it is yet. I still haven't seen it used regularly. I know people are using it for solo builds, but other than that, I don't know. Spiritual Seed had its cooldown increased to 25 seconds.
I mean, that's a PvP GVG staple.
Yeah,
right?
that's a big one, and for some people, that's gonna maybe it's in this idea of trying to make healing more holy. I do see people saying right now, like the problem with Holy is that you're not going to see the Sacred Pulse because it's crappy compared to Holy Orb. Holy Orb is really good right now. I see it save people in GVGs all the time, and I imagine in ZVZ it's much, much easier to use, as there's just people everywhere. So yeah, I can see what you're saying there, Zerfax. It could be still just not good enough to enter the meta of the ZVZ. All right, Swords had tons of changes.
Speaking of meta and ZVZ, right? Swords?
Well, GVG. Okay, two big things are changing here for how they're going to affect parts of the meta. The first one, the most noticeable, the one that we can talk about for everyone because it's going to make the biggest deal, is in GVG, Parry Strike no longer silences enemies. Now it gives you just a invulnerability window where you knock back the spell at them, and then you deal a big damage around you after a short period. It's not the same where it silenced people and basically interrupted their next attack. It was very, very overpowered, that Parry Strike. It was just brutal with the silence on there. They were talking about extending its cooldown like all the way to 20 seconds, which would have just been a very long cooldown for that spell. And instead, they were like, well, let's take away the silence. Try that. And I think this was the better choice. I don't think it's going to be as prevalent, but there will be still uses for it. But the other one, spinning blades on dual swords. If you've ever seen those mammoth hunting groups, you know these guys are part of the meta. Just not the GVG or the ZVZ meta. What they do is they take down the mounts. These guys will go in groups of 4 or 5, and they will take down merchants because the spinning blades do real damage or percentage-based damage to your max health. They were doing 6%, I believe, to start, and then scaled up. That's crazy for mounts. So your mammoth didn't matter what mount you're on, it goes down in the same amount of hits because it's percentage based of your max HP of your mount. It no longer affects mounted players. Thank God they're safe. Bogul, I just looked at time. We got to hurry up and get through this. Focus.
Yeah, two notes for the swords. Iron Will now applies a heroic charge, and the Soulless Stream of the Galantine pair had its cast time slightly increased. Yeah, for the shoes, there's 2 changes. One is to focused run of the Scholar shoes.
Both nerfs.
Where the move debuffs, yes, or nerfs rather, where the movement speed increase of the focused run from the Scholar shoes got moved down from 100 to a 70%, and the Helen shoes Mark of Sacrifice cast range was nerfed from 15 to 12 meters. We also saw that in terms of mounts, the Pierce Through spell from the Siege Ballista had its cooldown doubled, and its damage versus mounts increased from 3 to 5, and its damage versus players increased from 1.5 to 2%. So they buffed. So I don't know if that's a buff to the Siege Ballista. I don't see it as much.
Yeah, it's not a buff. It's a debuff because you're doing it less and you're not getting double the damage out of it.
Yeah, but can you cast this thing on cooldown? I don't. Probably.
Nah, well. I don't know why this was changed, and if we knew the change, like the reasoning for it, maybe then we could say if it was a debuff or a buff. We don't know how it's used. Is this something, is Pierce Through used ad nauseum? You just do it over and over and over again? If that was the case, then it's a debuff, like, you know, it's a nerf. If it's a situation where you'd use it once in a while, then it's a buff. But it looks like to me that this is a nerf. Healing Sickness. Talk about debuff, big nerf going on to Arrow 404. effing chat for their GVG team. Healing sickness debuff duration goes from 2 seconds to 5 seconds. Bye, guys. It was nice to see you in the meta. You were doing great. I could look at the rankings. You're way up there. You might still be number 1. Good luck with that. Ouch.
Are you serious? Do you think that's the death sentence for Arrow or for Crystal Efforts?
For this current team that they
because they rely on 2 healers, right?
I think that it's going to be very powerful for them. Like, very painful for them. It's a powerful smack in the face to that kind of gameplay. It just is.
I think these guys might be good enough to figure out a way.
I hope. Well, I think they'll have to have a new build. I don't think they can stay the way they're doing it. Okay, Does says the changes aren't that crazy. I feel like it will. Maybe I'm wrong. It won't change that much for them. Okay, if they're already surviving through the healing sickness, maybe that's true. But I understood it as they were using the short duration of healing sickness to really, get the most out of their big spells, is from what I understand what they were doing. And they were waiting the 2 seconds for it to be off and then hitting their big spells. But I could be wrong. I'll take your word for it, that you think that it's going to be fine and they'll do fine. We'll see. We have time. But Bogul, time to the big F in chat. Because we got to get through this. We're out of time. I pulled the raffle. Guys, if you won the raffle, check the raffle. It's announced. Scroll up if you want to see if you won. I announced the raffle. I'm not going to go through it. I'm opening a new one for the next one. I'm giving away the prizes from last week. But, Bogul, we have drama. We have sad news. We have drama. Vastly Superior is in the process of folding as we speak. They are done. Asterial is done with the toxic behavior. He's done with the constant drama. He loves the game, but he doesn't like the fact that no matter what he does, you can't stop out drama. Recently, the fame bonuses available to players from hunting archers caused some of the worst behaviors of some of the individuals of Vastly Superior to rise up. They were getting a little greedy. They were getting a little selfish. You saw players claiming as many as 5 zones for themselves. For the
how do I claim these? I don't. Some
for
of
the
these
rotation
politics, I don't get. Like,
and
how
apparently we had a high-level veteran at some point drop guild and kill some other players for their archers. Now, it wasn't just archers. I'm sure it wasn't just archers. I know that there's multiple dramas going on right now because of the situation of just getting, kicked out, and they've lost their alliance. Their only available teammates at the time were the Fricks, and a lot of things going bad for them. It's a fail cascade, yeah, but there's always that thing that pushes it over. Like when does everybody go, you know what? We're looking for new homes. We know things are unstable. We're growling, we're bitching, we're moaning, and it was all that together which made Asterial go, forget this, I'm done.
That's the announcement, right? Or
he said
the game in-game, the guild in-game still has 265 players.
Yeah,
7 territories. But we don't. I don't know. I just heard some things. And did you have that confirmed? Did you talk to Asterial, or is that just screenshots and?
I talked to Asterial a little bit. I got his screenshots from his announcement to the guild. When I talked to him, he was just like, thanks for, showing us off, and, thanks for what you do. It's not the game that really is upsetting me. It's more like just the drama that's constant. And I understand that. I've been there. It's rough. And he just needs to find something new for now. I hope he comes back because he's a great player. He's a good part of this community. I enjoyed speaking with him. And it's always sad when you see a content creator leave. I hope he chooses to come back, but I'm not going to push him and be like, get your ass back here. Rawr. But yeah, I hope he comes back and we could get him and Airship Enoch together to do another battle rap, because he's great. He's you want to keep members like that in your community. And it's sad that the stresses of the game can push somebody out like that. And I hope that he decides to come back at some time and choose not to lead, just leave the stress of that to somebody else and go, you know what? I don't need this damn drama. I'm just going to go and hang with my boys and have a good time. And I hope he can find that again. Maybe he'll join the Fricks. I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
But so, however it is, big F in chat.
Yeah. Okay. F in chat. Okay. Yeah, I'm always a little careful with announcing these kind of things. But in this case, we don't have an official statement, but we sort of have, I guess, a fairly good. Oh well, I'm just sad because we talked, or you talked to him a while back, and we had this great interview, and it was really cool, really fun. So if you want to listen to Estriel being in good spirits, you can listen to that. But yeah, maybe it's time to do a little reshuffle, and we can see the future of VS coming up soon. We will definitely report on that, how that goes on in the future. And then we will let everybody know, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll have to let people know. It's sad. It's the way that it is. But you know what isn't sad, Bogul? Raffles. Raffles are fun. I'm going to pull another... I think I have two more. I think I have two more raffles to pull.
While you do that, I will mention two fixes that also made it into Percival Patch 11 that we didn't mention earlier. One of them is that they fixed the time freeze issue, where the stun and invincibility had a little discrepancy in terms of their duration. They are now the same as intended. And they fixed an issue where farm buildings could not be demolished after picking up grown crop or animals. Yay! And additional numerous visual or animation, audio, terrain, whatever fixes. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you, Bogul, for reading out those bug fixes. We had two more winners. You guys contact me. Everybody whisper me if you won a prize today. You can scroll up, see if your name was pulled. If you were, just whisper me, and I will get to you later when we're done with the show. It was a great show for everybody. Thank you guys for showing up. Bogul and I are going to head out of here and go listen to the roundtable chat. And hopefully we'll be able to tell you guys something about that next week. But in the meantime, you can catch us, like I said, Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/Albion Online, Tuesday through Thursday, generally for Albion Live, unless somebody is over in Saudi Arabia or Afghanistan or Turkmenistan. He travels around a lot to these stands. And then where was the other place? SoundCloud, youtube.com/AlbionTV. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.